Welcome back to the Tales of Thirsty Jesse. The Final Fantasy VII Remake. Well, anyway, now we've arrived back at wherever the part of the town this is called. We're just going to go on the way back
Sector 7 slums.
Hey, y'all.
But first, let's have a look around the town.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, y'all. Cloud here, and this is my local live stream of the live stream.
Yeah, I call it the live stream.
I actually also like the costume redesign of the train station attendants.
I definitely do
I
like.
really see him. So.
I think one of the things I like about this remake is that it really does emphasize how Final Fantasy VII is a mixture of more mystical elements with modern elements. Like here, the way the people are dressed, you could see how someone who's dressed like Cloud could technically fit in here, even though he seems more like, more like a medieval sort of look.
Yeah, just gets a bit of me wandering around getting nothing done.
Also, kebab stores that are just there for the people of the night, I actually approve.
Yes.
Around here, we have a pizza place that stays open till 3 in the morning.
I have to say, the fact that every single line in this game is voiced is nothing short of.
I haven't encountered a single dialogue that is not
voiced. Well, this is a AAA budget game by Square.
Okay. I could be quite honest. Even AAA budget games from Square have never really had all their lines voiced.
Hello. Is that Patrick Sides?
Thank you, sir. I'll keep that in mind.
If you remember, this is the guy that was admiring the pillar in the original game. Oh. What the hell?
You okay, buddy?
Hey, Cloud. Hey, Cloud. Do you know what game I've been playing recently? I've been playing Doki Doki Literature Club. Is this what the evil villain does when they're meddling around with the game?
Okay.
I don't know, but why do I get the feeling like all of a sudden I should be warning people to maybe think about moving to a new sector? God, maybe
anyway,
it's just in my head.
You don't. That's what. Dwibs, that's what Cloud. That's what Cloud gets for trying to talk to someone who was not in the original game.
Actually,
Tia, were you going to say something earlier about because I mentioned that late opening pizza place around here?
Oh, sure. That's more like a proper establishment, like a more for the lower class restaurant. That makes any sense. I don't know how to describe it properly, but for us, we do actually have the steep stuff like the kebab stands. Literally, people that have like their mini trucks that transforms into like a sandwich, place or a kebab stand that can get, and we're just operating in the night.
Oh yeah, I loved that guard who was like polite about stuff, but then the guy says, "That's not."
That's actually foreshadowing for later, believe it or not.
But anyway, welcome to Sector 7 Slums.
Well, let me rephrase that too. I mean but the interaction wasn't exactly like in the original.
7.
The problem is okay. Let me rephrase that too.
Yes, Joe, I did say that.
It sounded like Sector 6 in this end. Maybe that was just.
Yes, I said 7.
Well, let me rephrase that too. What I meant is that it didn't go exactly like in the original game, though.
By that logic, every single interaction with the character had so far is not on script.
Yeah, Cloud probably best. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, probably best for Cloud not to watch what's going on telly in case someone recognizes.
Oh, there's Steve, and Marlene.
Hey, Teeth. Here she's voiced by Britt Barron, aka the actress who I recently saw from Glow, the Netflix series.
I'll admit I prefer Rachel Leigh Cooks, but she does a fine job here.
I think the thing is that she, instead of having a balance between maturity and youth, the maturity is more prominent rather than having a perfect balance, like with what Rachel used to do.
For you, milady.
Tips.
Yeah, have
Tip
this. Have
spiked
this well.
hair.
Guy can change. Has been 5 years.
Oh my god, it has been 5 years!
Talk to Barret.
I'm not quite sure that was meant to be that meta, but
I'll trust me, Dwibs. I wouldn't put it past the writers, considering what happens later.
Not in a sense, I'm pretty confident it wasn't exactly made for us, Dwibs.
But we can pretend it was.
I don't know, too.
Who's a good father?
anyway, let's take a little guided tour around the place. We have our fancy arcade pinball machines. We have our nice jukebox. We have the dartboard over there with darts. Yeah, we don't have to go to the bar and ask for them. He's just right there, ready for you. Can't do it yet though. And some little hiccups on my end.
Marlene said he's voiced by Brienne Milan.
Alright, did you guys have that little screen tear for a second, or was it just me?
I saw
Yeah, I
it.
did too. Probably the Elgato fucking up a bit, don't worry.
Yeah. And then don't you see, guys, it's Seth rocking with the game code.
Yes, absolutely.
It's totally part of it.
I think Brienne Milan is... No, actually, no. Apparently... And she doesn't have that much of a resume at the
All
moment.
he did was walk and...
She looks scary, Shiro, that's the problem.
I mean,
He has
I know he has a giant sword.
Barret is very, very protective of his little girl.
It has a frowny face, and that's enough to scare Marlene off.
Hey, I can smile. Just because we forgot for like, oh god, at least 10 years.
So then, what can I get you?
I'm still waiting on it.
Yeah,
Okay,
man,
Cloud, you can relax a bit. You don't know, I want my money.
you know, I was half, if I knew how, I was half tempted to get that song that I put for Jova's WWE wrestling character, that Cloud never getting his body.
Daddy, did the people who died all return to the planet?
Yeah, sure. Hang on, let's take a look at the jukebox. Throughout the game, you can go to any jukebox around and collect a music disc, and you can play them throughout the game. Or
Yep.
is there any one of these you go to?
Discs are collectible in this game, and there's a good selection, I will say.
Yep.
Yeah.
I already got
Also,
all
yeah,
of them.
I love the box art for Tifa's females, just her shoes.
Before we get on to money, there's an empty
The best one we get, my personal favorite one is there's a tango version of the Final Fantasy Victory Fanfare.
The landlady's a big friend of the cause, so you wouldn't even
I like the one where I like the techno-ish remix of the Prelude.
follow me then.
Oh, that's actually the Final Fantasy X version, Dwibs.
Didn't really sounded a bit. Maybe it was the audio effect of it being scratchy because
Well-
it was on a vinyl, but it sounded a bit newer to me.
Well, yeah, it's slightly remixed, but you can tell it's supposed to be the 10 version because Amazo's the composer, so it makes sense.
So, you make nice with everyone?
Which one though? OG10 or HD10?
Whatever,
Well,
like
Doesn't matter much.
honestly, if you ask me, even the reorchestrated prelude in the tank collection sounds basically the same to me, honestly.
I noticed a few differences.
It was like a war zone.
The news is just another Shinra mouthpiece. They'll spread whatever lies Shinra tells them to.
So, it wasn't that bad?
It was.
Oh, right. And here we are, good old Stargazer Heights. You're on the second floor. Room 201 here is where I sleep. Don't have time for much else, what with Seventh Heaven and all. Not even time to decorate.
Also, that's a very poorly textured door.
Yeah, that's one thing throughout this game I've noticed. Almost every door I've come across has pretty bad texturing.
It's don't you see, guys? The developers really hate doors.
Either that or Matomu
They
Toriyama
didn't
somehow,
apologize enough. So.
or Matomu Toriyama somehow managed to sneak in a little bit of his developing tactics for lightning returns, and that's how we're getting
honestly,
related stuff.
Honestly, Dwibs, I think I get the feeling it's something that they had to compromise to keep the frame rate up. because considering how many NPCs are there in towns, and like I get the feeling that's probably a compromise they had to do to keep the frame rate up.
I know, but half the NPCs aren't exactly high quality themselves. So.
Well, but it's just but a lot of NPCs on a single area really pushes the engine, though.
I do. And we'd love to settle up, especially since this was your first job for us, but...
That's it?
Sorry. We spent the rest preparing for the mission. That really is it. But not for long. I'm collecting money...
I promise, Cloud. I'll get you the body. Yeah, the way that half the time the way people talk about Cloud's body is like he's a bloody crime boss. Give me the body.
Hey, I'm a mercenary. It's my freaking job. Do you think I live off from what? The air? I need money to buy food too, you know. Such as you. Freaking.
Yeah, I mean, at least you're not like those mercenaries in the Rock. Those guys are just bastards.
Excuse me for trying to make a living. God damn.
I actually also like the detail when Cloud goes to sleep, he actually has to pull the sword away.
So yeah, Cloud now lives near public toilets. Where?
He's a light sleeper.
It'd have been funny if he grabbed the wrong thing like a broomstick.
Okay, I don't know about you, Pedro, but the first time I played this, I thought but the foreshadow was that it was Johnny, the one that was leaping.
I thought it were a couple getting a bit too into it.
But the answer is instead something different.
Yeah, but first let's make sure the sound isn't coming from the roof or something.
Yeah.
Well, we have to investigate everything. Instead, all we see is an item box that someone just left on the roof. But thank you very much. I got your Phoenix down.
I get the feeling. I get the feeling, Theo. The reason they put a lot more foreshadowing in this compared to how when the original game is because they want to make sure people.
All right, guys. I know how much you like doing your stuff, but can you please keep it down? I'm trying to sleep here.
They want to. They want to make sure that newcomers get really hyped for the next part, so...
Oh, fuck, not again.
God. I guess we're next door neighbors.
Personal space.
Sephiroth, remember, Cloud's not supposed to die yet.
Don't worry, Dwibs, he won't.
Oh.
Don't worry, dude. Sephiroth knows the script.
Oh, and scenes from the reunion in the Northern Crater? What?
Yeah, we're not yet.
Oh.
No.
Turns out it's just number 49.
What are you doing to Marco? This is his apartment.
Man, you're way far away from where you're supposed to be, dude.
Yeah, how did he get from Portugal to here?
Actually, he's supposed to be in the reunion spot, but he's not. He's way far off course.
I think man with black capes starts roaming around, seeing.
I get that too. It's just that this one in particular is way off course.
Also, for the record, this guy is this guy, which is called Marco in the English version. I don't know if it was the Japanese script or all, but for the Italian text, it's actually called Marcat. I don't know why.
I thought you were going to say this guy are sick to you.
No.
The Italian translators thought no. This is the name that's going to fit the character better.
Actually, again, I don't know if it was the same in Japanese or not.
It might be, considering...
Anyway, we didn't get a look around Cloud pad earlier, so let's have a look. And there's nothing else to see here, so let's move on.
Okay, here's one thing that I actually have to point out in a sense of the presentation. One thing that they decided to change in terms of how the game looks is to give the idea that during the day the slums are well illuminated by the sunlight, even if they can see the sun. Well, it was pretty much discussed as a plot point in the original game that due to how the upper plate blocked the view, the people under could not see the sunlight or properly the sky, hence why we need a constant artificial illumination. I guess we need to change to make things easier for lighting engine. Anyway, this is actually a new NPC character, and according to a couple of people, apparently a reference to Chrono Trigger.
In which way?
The same name and part of the hairdo.
Oh! Huh. Oh, now that you mention it, yeah. Interesting.
Also,
If it is, it's cool that they did that.
I wouldn't be surprised considering Square kept
Also,
claiming that the first 13 had a reference to Chrono Trigger, so...
Also, because typically around this time in the original game, we didn't get to hear the main theme of said game until we reached the overworld map. But since there is no overworld map in this game, they decided let's put the main theme of Final Fantasy VII in here.
Well, it makes sense. The world map only shows up after you leave Medgar, so well, of course they wouldn't.
It works also for the best because for Chapter 3, the Sector 7 land will act as your sort of mini hub, which works exactly kind of like the world map did in the original game, with, doing stuff in different places. What are you doing?
Anyway, I don't know, Jova, like,
Remember, Tia, Cloud hasn't been here in years, so he's a bit... He's
No, I was basically a dialogue of a guy, but go on, Pedro.
I don't know, Joe. I mean, like, say, Final Fantasy, the 13 games had full-blown voice acting with nothing in text. I mean, which specific... I mean, it's not like this is the first Final Fantasy to have something like this, so...
Well, I mean, even those had the occasional ones that did not have voice acting.
Like
I
what?
can't go up the stairs, buggery.
Like some of the side quests.
No, actually, all the side characters had fully voiced. Didn't they?
Pedro, I guess he's talking about the Arctil Step, Thief, the guys who give you the hunting missions because they're just text.
But those are not. You mean those crystal rock things that gave you the side quests?
I guess.
No, it was something that wasn't voice acted. Still, the point still stands.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cloud's Drive in his guided tour of the Final Fantasy VII Midgar slums. If you look to your right, you will see a house made out of metal, and if you look to your left, you will see a house also made out of metal. There, what a grand tour, and yeah, the biggest building throughout all of this segment is the bloody pub.
Well, makes sense, huh? Oh.
The mercenary? I've got fingers in a few pies myself.
I love Johnny Spaver's dress is exactly the same as one of the sprites of the original.
They weren't sprites, so like 3D models.
Sorry, model, my bad.
I want you to think
Yeah.
of me as family. You know, an uncle or maybe a distant relative. While I have you here, you wouldn't happen to be interested in grappling guns, would you?
Ah, yes, because the grappling guns in this game are so well made and reliable.
Nothing but the best.
Yeah, in this, yeah, probably charge you a lot too.
Probably. Hopefully not as costly as Phoenix Downs in Final Fantasy 13.
Actually, oh yeah, actually you do lose them by them. It's just that I kept thinking that just because your leaders die, your entire party gets KO'd. But yeah.
Keep those party members.
I mean,
alive
sometimes
what you
I
can.
do have to. I mean, sometimes some characters do have 2 quotes. Some characters have 3 before it loops around again.
And once you understand how the game wants you to play, the game becomes a cakewalk. At least in the main campaign.
Alright. I got a couple of high potions. Lovely.
shops on Culvert Street stock goods you won't find in more reputable establishments.
Yeah, and if you look here, you will see a old abandoned factory that got converted into this, wherever this is.
Best steer clear unless you're looking for trouble. Even if you are, be careful. I'll have a little chat with my man.
I don't know. But anyway, on with the tour. Cloud, don't go slashing those boxes. Those are other people.
Save that for the Whack-A-Box minigame.
Or any Shinra boxes, or indeed any other random pile of boxes you see lying about
Well,
the
it
Shinra building.
depends on the overzealous Brit playing me, please.
Over. Ooh, kitty.
Look at that Shiroi.
Yay.
Yeah,
Can you
she
pet
right.
it?
Yeah.
No,
And
you can't.
Fortunately not.
Wow, this game sucks then.
Hey. Just so you know, Marlene's still asleep. Let's get down to business, shall we? These water filters won't replace themselves. Although the next batch probably could, if Jessie put her mind to it. Most every home in the area has one.
Chloe's like, well, fuck my life.
I get back after a long 5 years. I've already got to do fucking chores.
Filters, collect the old ones, and get paid. What?
Did it
At
get
least you
any
don't have-
worse?
At least you don't have to eliminate rats in a basement.
I'm a soldier.
Which is why no one will refuse to pay. What do you say? Please?
Pretty please.
Let's get this over with.
Great. And while we're at it,
By the way, what do you think of this rendition of the
I like
thing
it.
from 7?
It's very similar to the traditional orchestral one that Square has done in a couple of their concerts.
There's also going to be later a piano version of Arif's theme that is very similar to the one that comes with the 2015 Final Fantasy VII PS4 theme.
Yeah, that's the one I've got too.
So there you go, Dwibs. The tour that you just did was pointless
Well-
because it gives you one again.
Well,
but
But hold on, Dwibs.
seriously,
Isn't okay.
I wanted to do a tour at my own pace as well before the game did it.
no, Dwibs, I understand because I did the
Makes
exact same thing.
he'll take your money.
Sounds like a pretty sweet gig.
You don't need to know who I am.
In your dreams, maybe.
You don't need to see my identification.
Since we're here, maybe we
But yeah, well, Dwibs, remind me, isn't the theme, the PS4 theme you have right now, the one that comes with the digital deluxe edition?
Well, I've got both.
Oh, you have the one that came with the 2015 original game release on the PS4, right?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, that's the one I use, and yeah, it's the same track, isn't it? It sounds like it at least.
Yeah, it's the same track.
Okay, and
Great,
it sounds like they're using it in this game later.
A more funky version of the Prelude.
Nice.
Like I said, it's clearly based on the FF10 version.
Yeah, I can see that.
It starts with
Yeah,
that little techno
Dwibs, you saw
thingy.
that important piece of equipment that was useful for... Why are you buying grenades? Oh my god.
Grenades
Yeah.
are fun.
No, I sold the grenades.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Just didn't notice.
Yeah, those items are overrated anyway.
The equipment actually gave you a material slot.
Yeah, I'm fine without it.
You
Sure.
didn't know, did you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm like at this moment I'm like 14 parts in or so, and I'm doing okay.
Are you cutting out deaths?
I haven't died yet.
Well, remember, Joe is playing on easy mode, and according to Kotaku, it's way too easy, supposedly.
I've been having some. I mean, the most difficulty I have is fighting the really tough bosses. But I mean, that's typical.
If you're ever in the market for anything else.
All right.
That's the beauty of multiple game modes. You don't have to use all of them.
Yeah, well, according to Kotaku, It's not enough, apparently.
Why
It's
do you
never-
even pay Why do you
it's
even
never
pay
enough.
mind to Kotaku?
Because they're bloody everywhere. It's hard not to come across it. Even
Well,
when
that-
you ignore it, even when you try to ignore it, someone puts it on your Twitter feed.
There are like, I have what, 2 people from Kotaku who actually are worth a listen.
Up here, and he might throw in a freebie.
The only
and
ones,
even they,
one of them
and even
streets-
they sometimes cut.
yeah. The only ones
And
are,
also, unfortunately, they still work for the damn site, so you know.
and it's
So, Tifa, be honest. How much of this is actual work and how much of this is, a date?
Just better.
Oh,
well, actually, Joe, but the date is was supposed to happen later, but yeah.
I'm
That's
just
just not-
saying.
not just that,
Feels like a trap.
There's a lot of shipping subtext in this game. If you're a fan of shipping any of these kind of couples, the game has got you covered.
Great.
Yep.
Funny, just like another RPG I've been playing at the same time as this.
Well,
Well,
Persona 5 social links are all about that stuff anyway. That's kind of one of the big trademarks of the Persona
And I'm a
series.
serial shipper, so there
You
we go.
know, the more I think about it, the more I realize that Final Fantasy XIII was trying to be Persona. Like, you've got these protagonists who go against society, and their eidolons are pretty much personas, representing them when they're at the lowest point and being able to summon and use them for attack.
Except unlike Persona 13 feels like it was written by a monkey.
Guys, do what Tifa said. Be nice.
No,
Yeah,
I will not be.
Pedro,
I will not be
Pedro,
nice to that
Pedro.
game. Sorry, Tifa.
Pedro. Be nice. The monkey would have written something.
You take care of yourself.
That is
I
true.
mean,
That is
sometimes-
true.
some- If you ask a monkey to write Shakespeare, sometimes it does write a word. But anyway, yeah. Basically, at any point, like whether it be your flat or some random bench sitting around somewhere, you can take a rest and you can recover your MP and HP. And sometimes they'll even have little potion vending machines next to them.
Mm-hmm.
It is nice, actually, getting to see the town here, getting to know it more better.
Yeah, I mean, well, at least
Usually at this,
in a lot more detail than pre-rendered backgrounds.
literally, by this part of our original playthrough, we were already about to deal with Airbuster. And here they've added so much more. That's what a remake should do. Add on, not take out.
Anyway,
Remake.
when there's not a proper cutscene on screen, the game instead uses the back and forth type of the visual cutscene.
Well, actually, that's a
where
good
it's been
segue.
using since 13.2, I think. There was a prototype of that in 10 and 10.2, but 13.2
Yeah.
pretty much implemented better.
Mate Cloud is the one with a giant ass sword on his back.
Hey, I'm
Mm.
using words first, pretty please.
Actually, Jova, that's a good segue. Because might as well address that since you mentioned it. Kitase, shortly before the game released, gave out a specific explanation for the decision to make the game in various parts because he said specifically, the problem is with the amount of graphical quality and the overall stuff that we're doing in HD and all that stuff, in order to fit the entire game story in just one release, we would have to basically rush through the and we didn't want to do that. We wanted to make things, like they wanted to genuinely have this thing that we were just praising right now, Joe, but they wanted to have all this downtime for quality, for character building and world building. And honestly, after playing this entire game, I honestly think it was the right decision. I wouldn't want them to rush through it, to be honest.
Personally, I'd have rather they just waited until they can make the whole thing. But hey, this works too, and given what I now know about the remake, I can sort of see why they're having it in parts. That said, though, I'm still questioning on whether or not I'll buy it. But that's to just show how good it is, though. I've gone from
I'm still
until
waiting
full-
to the end.
Well, you'll be waiting a while.
Okay.
I'm used to waiting.
I hope to save up for 5 years then, shall we?
Well, actually, no, Dwibs. Remember, they already have the gameplay created. They already have the character models. The second part is going to take a shorter time to develop compared to.
It'll still take a few years, I'd imagine, but
And that's not
it
even
should be a
counting what's
smoother
going on right
process.
now.
Yeah, the battle system they already have the battle system designed. They already have the character models. made, most of them at least. So it's a smoother process when it comes to developing the remaining parts.
And we have no idea how many parts there are going to be total. But yeah, I'll probably still hold out and wait for it. I'll just say this, though.
Okay, time to get interesting with weapon modifications.
Yeah. Again, I can't remember if it was like this in the original game, but you have in this game you have SP points that you can use to upgrade your weapon. Whether you can have it give you more health, or make your attacks more powerful, or whether you get more magic points. But anyway, this as the tutorial shall now demonstrate.
It's a complete new feature for this remake, Dwibs, in case you need to know. Because guess what? Like I mentioned sporadically before, now your characters do not have the Crystariums, the weapons do. I'm not even kidding, it's the same interface at all. Look at
True.
this.
Fortunately, unlike unlike 13.1 Crystarium, it's a straightforward skill tree in the same vein as the skill tree from Tales of Xillia, in the sense that it's not like it's not like a super duper non-linear skill tree, but there's enough to it so that you should choose which skills you want to get first. So it's not like the Crystarium where you're just holding X until you run out of points. So there actually is some little amount of thinking involved in specific in what all right, I have this amount of points. What skills would I prefer to get with these? Since I can't get all of them, so there is that. At the very least, the player is involved in this process, at least.
Also, if you're really bored, you can pretend you're in outer space.
My suggestion: do it still regularly every time you level up, because the perks are still very useful for you in combat.
I wait quite a bit in between, so I have more points to use.
Yeah, you do have the option to select automatic upgrading, where basically, what Dwibs is doing right now. Basically, it will spend the points according to what you choose, whether prioritizing attack or prioritizing defense or whatever that shit is. I personally, when it comes to these mechanics of skill trees, I prefer to be the one to decide one by one. I prefer having complete control over those things.
Although as you've seen, I prefer to just let the game sort it out. And besides, I've made it focus on power and attack, so I can just focus on doing all the other stuff.
Like for example, I always prioritize creating new material slots for the weapons whenever I have the chance.
Do you know the way?
The game does not have an option for prioritizing that, so I have to rely on myself.
And there you are, Tifa's now in our party.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh wait, wrong franchise.
Yeah.
Teo,
Square franchise.
Teo, they need to come up with a party join jingle for this series at some point. I mean, I can't keep referencing the Dragon Quest series every time this happens.
well, I mean, Peter, it kind of fits here because Square Enix.
Well, I get that. I'm just like this series has never had a join the party jingle,
it's
not even the spin-off that I think now, not even Tactics had one.
It's kind of weird that we haven't gotten a Square. It's kind of weird that we haven't gotten a Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest spin-off that's not a stupid Japanese exclusive.
What do you mean, Jova?
Wait, you didn't know? Basically, Teo, there's sort of this Fortune Street-esque game that's literally a crossover between Dragon Quest characters and Final Fantasy characters.
Yeah, I know that.
But it's Japanese exclusive. Like, you'd think that it would be a no-brainer for Square to make a crossover between the two that's, accessible to all regions.
Silly Jova.
It's just Fortune Street.
Silly Jova. Nobody in the West cares about Dragon Quest, don't you know?
Well, honestly, Pedro, that joke kind of died after Dragon Quest.
Well, Dwibs, I will keep using it as long as Enix, as long as Enix continues to try to spread this lie. I will continue to use it. If Enix are the ones, Enix are the ones enabling me, so blame them.
Anyway, join us.
Join us for the next part where I begin the side quests.
See you then.
See ya.